Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to our Zoom call. And thank you very much for joining us on this journey. This is the journey of understanding your inner self. And through that, we will be able to materialize happiness. And the program is also called LIT in English, which means we will be sharing this amazing knowledge in English. And LIT is standing for life transformation. And I would like to thanks everyone for joining me on this amazing journey. And throughout this journey, we will be able to share four principles that will help guide us to the journey of understanding your inner self. And most importantly, this is actually season three of Lit in English. And in the first season, we went in deep for the root formula, which is one of the three semantic reference system. On second season, we went over the triangle of reality, and this season is very special because it will help us understand the very last of the three semantic reference system, and that would be the human structure. And today is our second day, and I would like to personally thank you for joining us on this journey. And your presence here will help us understand these lessons better in our journey. Our mission is to spread these amazing knowledge to every corner of the world. All right, so let's get started. Before we go in today's discussion, I would like to went over the key point on the presentation from yesterday. And yesterday we went over the six barriers, and this is one of the most important um, presentation that we need to understand because in life often we tend to have idea when idea comes to us, it means that it is something our heart desires. However, if we are not careful, we tend to come up with excuses. We there's kind of like an invisible wall, like a barriers that's stopping us from get on with the doing in order to materialize our goal, our dream in life. And by understanding the sixth barrier, it is easier for us to define what they are and how to deal with them. And the sixth barrier is one, limiting belief, two, fear of failure, and then three, fear of judgment, four, lack of prerequisite, and five, lack of knowledge, and six is lack of vision. And yesterday we demonstrate that the barrier number six is literally the most important one because without vision, that is how you form limiting belief. And because you don't have the vision of accomplishing that goal, the fear of failure occurs, and the same goes for fear of judgment. And we often afraid that we don't have what it takes to do it. Lack of prerequisite and lack of knowledge, like we don't have everything we needed. But you know what? If you have the vision of your goal, the other five areas does not matter. And the fact is, because you don't have everything ready, that is the exact reason in and of itself that you desire to even do it. Because if you already acquire it, it will be less likely that you want to go after that goal, go in after that dream. And that is something that a lot of people still kind of confused about. Therefore, it is actually good that you don't have everything needed, like lack of knowledge and lack of prerequisite. And we use the example of Bill Gates from yesterday to demonstrate this. Bill Gates had the vision of bringing computer to every household, and his professor disagreed. He said that computer would cost millions of dollars at that time. Therefore, it was impossible to make it a reality where computer being used in every household. And in a way, the fact that Bill Gates didn't have as much knowledge as his professor, it allowed him to have the vision of the future. And not only he invested in computer, he actually went a step above where he started a software company called Microsoft, and he was able to make billions. And it's proven the fact that a vision is something very, very special. And once we realize how important it is, we will we will know how to break through the other barrier in order to materialize your goal, your dream, your calling. And yesterday we also discussed the story of Mr. Roger Bannister. And Mr. Roger Bannister is the one who broke the world record of running 1 mile under 4 minutes. And prior to his accomplishment, people thought that it was impossible to do so. But he was able to change all of it. And I would highly recommend you to go back to our audio recording to listen to it if you wasn't here yesterday, because you will see how amazing it is that Mr. Roger Bannister run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And because of his accomplishment, not only he broke through hit barriers, but he actually helped the entire world break through their barrier. And soon after his accomplishment, many professional athletes was able to do the same things. And the question that we needed to ask ourselves is that why was it that hundreds of years prior to Mr. Roger Bannister, nobody else was able to accomplish the 1 mile under 4 minutes? But the second that Mr. Roger Bannister did it, we have hundreds, thousands of people did the same thing. And because of that, it also demonstrates the importance of us going on this journey of understanding our inner self, because we will be able to prove the world the importance of understanding our inner self. In that way, we will be able to show the world that once we understand our inner self, we will be able to live that holistic life. And this journey will help guide us through to all of the principle and reference system needed. And similar to Mr. Roger Bannister and Bill Gates, we will prove to the world what is possible and how we can live a better life. And that's it. Let's move on to today's topic. And I would like to invite you to grab a piece of paper and a pen so you can draw along the way with me. And today we will go over the very first principle out of the big four. And that principle is called the principle of light. So I would like to write number one in the corner left. And let's write the principle of light. All right. And if you have a black pen, let's draw alongside with me a rectangle. And this rectangle is a representation of a dark room. Okay, and I'm going to ask you a very, very serious question. And I want you to right now you answer with this, okay? Let's say this is your dark room and you want it to become a light room, right? Do you focusing on getting darkness out of the room? Okay, so option one would be getting darkness out of the room. Or do you choose to bringing light inside the room, right? So at first, most people would be like, "Oh yeah, if we want to get rid of something, we just need to get it out of there." That would be the first initial impression. That's how my impression was as well. But if we think a little bit more about it, then we would realize that doesn't sound right. Because how can we get darkness out of the room? Because darkness is not tangible. But we all know that if we walk in a dark room, like let's say it is at night and you just came home from work or you just came home from an event and you walk to your house and it is dark. So the simple reaction that most of us would do is to turn on the light. And that would make darkness disappear. And this is actually very, very simple. And all of us kind of conditioned to do it. When we walk into the dark room, we would search for the light switch and we just turn it on. And when light appear, darkness will go away. And this is extremely important because this is a binary system. When light exists, then darkness will go away, and vice versa. Therefore, when we are talking about understanding your inner self, it is very similar to a dark room, right? It is something very foreign to us. And when we ask the question, do you understand your inner self? We might get confused, like what is an inner self? And why do we have to understand our inner self? And it is kind of like a dark room. And this it is part of the reason we chose the name lit, as in let's lit up our dark room. That is understanding your inner self. Once we lit up the room, it will become instead of the light room, instead of the dark room, it will become a light room. Right. And let's do that. Let's cross out the word dark and let's write the word light underneath of it. And let's draw ourselves a candle, which is a representation of bringing light in the room. Right? So this is the simplest way to turn a dark room into a light room. Even a 2 years old wouldn't know how to do it. But if we apply the same idea to a more complicated event, for example, in 2016, I have a realization that I wasn't healthy. I just came off of my years of working in a restaurant, and I gained a lot of weight during that time. And I decided, you know what, I had enough of it. I'm going to I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to lose weight so that I can be healthier, so that I can feel better about myself. And I started to go to the gym almost every day. I started to eat healthier. I only eat steamed vegetable, and I was very consistent for a good 2 to 3 months. I started to get some result with that, but again, it only lasted for only a few months, and then I went right back to my old habit, which is not going to the gym, eating like fast food, as in like unhealthy food. And if we use that story of me trying to lose weight, and if we were to apply it to the principle of light, we can quickly realize that my dark room was being unhealthy, being not active enough. And I was trying to get darkness out of my room, as in trying to lose weight. I was focusing on getting that darkness out of the room, getting all of the bad habit out of that room, like not exercising enough, like not eating healthy. But the overall outcome wasn't what I wanted. The overall outcome was that after after trying so many times, I fall back to my old habit. And in life, we often try to focus on the wrong thing, because we 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 have a dark room, and we tend to try to focus on getting the darkness out rather than getting the light in. And using the same exact example, what I should have done when I tried to lose weight back in 2016, I should try to light up my dark room. I should I should focus in on the healthy activity, and I should just do that rather than focusing on trying to lose weight. And this is very, very important. So let me try to repeat that again. What I should have done was to focus in on the healthy activity, and not focusing on the fact that I was trying to lose weight. And the trick is that the idea is that once let's say you are trying to lose weight, the question in itself, even though it sounds that it is very good to try to do that, but subconsciously we already we already decide that we was unhealthy, and we are trying to get rid of it. But if we were to just if we can just try to be healthier, and we can just start to go to the gym and be consistent of it, and not trying so hard on losing weight, not trying so hard on getting the darkness outside of the room, then it is that simple. And the point that I am trying to make, the point that I am trying to demonstrate, is that life can be very complicated, but it doesn't have to. When we keep it simple, when we simplify it all to the very foundation of it, all we needed to do is to light up our dark room. And I can prove that to you if you can help me draw a house. just right on top of the dark room. Right. So life can be very complicated, and if we were to simplify all problems that we have to deal with, then we can safely simplify it to four categories. So the example of me trying to live a healthier life, it would be uh, it would be the category of health. And then underneath this house here, I would like you to invite you to write the word inner self. And on the right hand side, let's write relationship. And up top, let's draw some dollar sign to demonstrate that we are talking about money or finance. Right. So if we look around us, or we can even look at our own life, I'm sure we all have things that need our attention. Sometimes it can be ourselves because after a long day of work, we might feel tired. So that's even something that we have to deal with. And then when it's come to health, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, we need to have good health. Therefore, if we were to simplify all problems, health is a big category. It can be like having a healthier body, or if there was some kind of sickness that you have to deal with, it will fall under the category of health as well. And in life, relationship is a big part of it because relationship is mean the relationship with your family members or your friends or your coworker, and it has a great influence on life. And similarly, finance, same thing. It has great impact on life. And there's a story that I would like to share with you guys, and I know I share with this in every season, but it is truly an amazing story that demonstrate the importance of the principle of life. And the story is called The Old Man and His Son. Some people name this a blessing in disguise. And the story is about a small village a long, long times ago. And there was an old man, a kind old man, who lived in the plant outside of the city. And that gentle old man had a son and a horse. And the father and son was living together, helping each other, farming, and they live happily with each other. And the the old man and the son, they are very kind and they are being loved by their neighbor in their village, and everything seemed to be great. But strangely enough, there was one night, for some reason, the only horse that the old man had ran away, and without the horse, the son can't have to work much harder, and he wasn't able to produce as much farming as he used to. Therefore, the villager came over and they they said how sorry they are that this happened, and they're sorry that the horse escaped, and losing the horse is such a bad luck. But the old man said that there wasn't any way for them to predict that the horse would escape. It would just happen, and there wasn't anything that we can do about it. And the old man said that there is no reason to be upset about. And soon after that, the neighbors realized that there was nothing that they could do neither. There's nothing that they can help to bring the horse back. And they shouldn't feel sad for the old man's misfortune. A week later, the horse came back and is brought back another horse. And it's not just any horse, it's actually a very valuable white horse in the wild. And when the neighbor heard of this, they quickly came over and congratulated the old man because instead of having one horse, now you have two. And the second one is actually a very, very rare one, which increased the wealth of what the old man had. But then again, the old man wasn't excited. As he explained it before, it was not necessarily good luck that happened. It just something that uh, we shouldn't be getting too excited over it. And the neighbor, they are all puzzled. They don't know why the old man was saying that, so they just left as quickly as they has come. And then a short time later, when the son was taming the wild horse, trying to get it to obey and help him with the farming work, he uh, he slipped off, fell and broke his leg, and he wasn't able to do the farm work as well as before. And the neighbor know that the old man was relying on his son and the farming work to support them and their family. So they came over. They feel sorry that this happened. Then they want to soften the pain. However, the uh, the old man was okay. He wasn't upset, and he explained to the neighbor that they should not feel sorrow for his son, and they shouldn't feel anger toward the horse neither. It was purely an accident that we couldn't predict, and there was nothing that he or they can do to change it. And at this point, the neighbor thought that the old man was crazy, and they decided to leave him alone. And a few months after that, the enemy invaded the country, and all young men was drafted to defend the country against the attack. And because the old man's son had a broken leg where he could not attend to the war, he got to stay to heal while every other young man had to go to war, and none of them was coming back. And the neighbor came over and congratulated the old man, and they was telling him of how lucky he was to still have his son there and the two horse to help him with the farming work. And he is so lucky to have his son taking care of him. And the old man was just being calm, kind, smile, and he said that it's okay. There's nothing to get too excited about. And that is the end of the story. A very simple story, but there is a tons of important lesson in there. And what I wanted to demonstrate is about the old man himself. Because the first event was that the horse ran away. A normal person would see that as bad luck because that is literally their finance, their money would just ran off and they would lose their finance. A normal person would get very upset about it. And for the old man, he was able to remain calm, right? So the old man was having a light room, a lit up room, and he doesn't let the fact that the horse ran away influencing on the way that he think. He was holding on tight to his light room. And most people, when something undesirable happen, people tend to hold grief, or people tend to see it as pain. And remember what we was talking about yesterday about the chicken egg and the transformation. Because if you can imagine a chicken egg, then when forces from the outside impacting on it, that would mean that life would be about to use us as food. But if the force is coming from the inside out, that would mean life. And we will see this pattern very, very often because life continuously trying to get us to change through suffering. They will try to test us. And the story of the horse running away, for an experienced mind like the old man, he know that this is the beginning of something great. And he realized that he can choose to feel pain, he can choose to feel sorrow, and more pain, more sorrow can come. Or he can choose to grow from the inside out. Okay. So instead of allowing life making an impact on him, he make a conscious decision to have a force from the inside out so that he doesn't have to experience those pain. He doesn't have to experience those suffering. And because of that, he was able to stand above the problem. And soon after that, the horse came back with another horse. It also means that the old man was doubling his finance. So if you can help me imagine everything that you own, all of the money and the houses that you have, all of a sudden it's just disappear. And that is a huge problem. But from the old man perspective, he was able to remain calm. And when the wealth come back twofold, when people come in to congratulate him, he still remaining calm and say that it is fine. There's nothing to get too excited about because the old man is wise. He knows that life constantly testing us, and we have to have a very clear mind. We have to remain balanced. And the old man was getting ready. He lived long enough. He understand that when a good thing happen, there might be something challenging going to appear. So instead of getting too excited over one thing, he was remaining calm, he was remaining balanced, and he was getting ready for the war scenario that could happen. Because when the impact coming from the outside in, it means that the egg is about to be used as food. But if we can be balanced, if we can create the force from the inside out, we will be able to give ourselves life. And this is extremely powerful. And I want to link this to the oldest book of all, the in the Bible. And I'm not religious, by the way. I'm just fascinated with the book. And in the Bible, it said that when God created the world, right, there was only darkness. And God said, "Let there be light," and there is light. And soon after that, God created the world, every beautiful thing in the world. And that is a religious text. However, if we want to use a more scientific point of view, you can see that the very earth that we are living on right now, it is filled with life. And that is thanks to the day, from the sunlight. That is what helping life exist. That is the energy needed. Therefore, we can see light as in a very essential energy of life itself, and darkness is the other, like the other side of the coin. Because I don't want to use a negative word, right? What we want to focus in on is light equal to life. And lit stand for life transformation. We want to bring light inside of the room. And back to the old man story, he was wise. He know what he needed to do. He know that even though he was able to double his finance, he know that there is a cost for it, because the world is very balanced. Where light exists, darkness exists as well. It disappeared when light come into the room, but it was still there. And the man understood that, and he was able to remain balanced. Instead of getting excited over things, he was able to remain calm. He was able to get in ready. Therefore, when the son broke his leg by trying to tame the horse, the old man was okay. He was ready. He was emotionally ready for something like that to potentially happen. Therefore, when it happened, he was able to remain calm. And when the neighbor came over to share his suffering, he said it was fine. He said that there's no need to feel sorrow for him, because the man understood that even though it wasn't exactly the neighbor problem, when misfortune come upon him, he understood that if his neighbor was able to remain calm, if his neighbor were to be able to keep the light room, then they will have the strength to make it through the hard time as well. And this is very critical, because if they was to feel sorry for him, then in a way, subconsciously, they are trying to get darkness outside of the room. And this is what makes this principle extremely, extremely powerful. If there is anything that we can get out of this journey of understanding your inner self, I would highly recommend this principle, because this will be able to help you get through all challenges in life. And as the story goes on, as I just told earlier, shortly after that, the war happened, where every young able man had to go to war. And thanks to the broken leg of his son, he was able to keep his son alive, and they was able to continue living and taking care of each other. And there is more into this simple story. There's more lesson to it. But what I want you to get out of this is, it is very important to light up our dark room. It is very important to bring light into your dark room, to understand your inner self, because it is a simple action that can give you that life transformation. And in life, and talking to this point, I would like to thank teacher or guru have shared us these amazing knowledge, because without this knowledge, we are very much lost as well. I am very much lost as well, because in life I have been very reactive, as in I'm waiting for a problem to occur and I react to it. I will try to solve it. But there's another way, there's a better way. It is called being proactive instead of reactive. And let me write that down, because this is an important word as well. We want to be proactive instead of reactive. So what do I mean by proactive versus reactive? So in life, there is a very big relationship between health and finance. With good health, we will be able to make money. In the case of the old man, his son, and the horses, with the son good health, he is able to make money to support his father and himself. And with finance, it can help him with his health as well. It have impact on his health. When he had two horses, he can perform the farming job better, and vice versa. When finance occurs, when he had two horses instead of one, it actually impacted his health as well. That's how the young man broke his leg. So there's the very, very tight connection between health and finance. And this is another thing that I want to brought up. It might not the right time, but if you can really like think deeply about it, in the case of people who win the lottery, right? They uh they win an extraordinary amount of money, and they ended up not having that good of a life after a short time. It's affecting their health, because they tend to party a lot or doing crazy thing, and it has direct impact on their health. And a certain increase of finance, sometimes it can have a bad influence on your health. And similarly, your health can have direct influence on your inner self, because when you feel good, you will have a better health. And when you feel healthy inside, then you will also have a a better health. And when you feel good, you will have a better relationship. And in our story, the old man have a very good relationship with his neighbor. Vice versa, from the good relationship, it helped the old man feel good, feeling more secure, because the old man know that if there is anything challenging, if there is anything difficult, he know that his neighbor is there to help him. And through that relationship, even though I did not mention it in the story, but thanks to the help from his neighbor, he was able to make it through the hard time when the son broke his leg and wasn't able to work. It is the relationship that was helping with his finances. And if you guess it, then you would guess it right. There's a huge relationship between money and inner self, relationship, and health. And this is extremely important as well. This is the other half of the paper. There is an interconnected relationship between inner health, inner self, health, relationship, and finance. And understanding these four big categories, it is simpler for us to work on ourselves, to be ready when we face challenges. Because most people out there, and believe me when I say this, most, if not all people out there, can only be reactive. As in, when thing happened to them, they wasn't aware of it. They wait till a bad thing occurs, and then they have to learn how to deal with it. And you don't want to be like that. You want to be proactive. You want to be prepared. And this is something that my father has been telling me all this time. He is trying to teach me this principle to be proactive. And let's say having good health, for example, we are all know how important it is to have good health, because with good health, we are able to make money. We are able to build a strong relationship. But most of us, we don't take care of our health until sickness come, and then we have to react to it. Let's say we have a high blood pressure, we have to take high blood pressure pill to help with it. Or if we're not taking care of our body, we might get sick, we might get a cold or a COVID, and then we have to react to it. We have to take medication. Therefore, if we are not aware of problem that occurring in our life, then we will be too busy reactive to the thing. But lucky for us, we can define all problem in life into only 4 categories, and we can start to be more proactive with it. We can proactively work on our health, proactively work on our inner self, proactively work on our relationship, proactively working on our finance, and we would be ready. What the story of the old man and the son did not say was the preparation that the old man did. When the entire village came over and feeling sorrow for the old man was ready. When the horse ran away, the old man was able to remain calm because he already had his saving. He was already good for the winter. He know that he will have enough food. He will be okay. He will have enough time to figure out what to do next. And even when the horse come back to him, when he was able to increase his wealth, he was able to remain in calm because the old man is wise. He mastered inner self. He didn't let the excitement took over. He know that more challenges will come. That is just how life is. Therefore, when the son broke his leg, the old man was able to remain calm. The old man was proactive. He had his saving. He didn't have to worry about having food for the winter. And he know that he was ready for something like this. He know he can take care of his son. And the old man is wise. The old man know usually when bad thing happen, there's something great will follow. And that was exactly right, because when the war happened, the old man was able to remain home with his son, and they was able to take care of each other. And the key to this is the principle of light. We have to learn how to bring light in our dark room, and we have to help it remaining lit up, to bring to be proactive, to be ready instead of being reactive. And this one simple piece of paper is extremely, extremely important. But I would like to bring in another piece of paper, because you know what? This is the journey of understand your inner self. Why do we have to understand our inner self? Why is it that inner self is at the bottom of the house, and not health, and not relationship, and not finance? Some people might argue that you have to have a good health in order to have a good inner self. You have to have a good health in order to have good finance, in order to have a good relationship. That is a very good question, but if you really think about it, every other animal, like right, let's use the horse for example. Is the horse healthy? Is it strong? But what the horse doesn't have is the intellectual property like what human have. Uh, The inner self, our inner mind is what helping us literally take over the world and secure our survival. Inner self is something very, very special that we have acquired. Therefore, inner self should be at the bottom. And another thing that I want you to think about is if we were to look around us, to everybody around us, to the community, the country, the entire world, it's appear that people are focusing on finance, people are focusing on making money. And I did a lot of study on this, and I realized I have come to a conclusion that even though there are people who are able to make a lot of money, they don't have a good life because they still have bad health, they still have bad relationship, and a lot of time they don't even feel good about themselves. Therefore, it is extremely important to work on our inner self. It is very, very important to understand our inner self. And inner self is like a foundation of a house. And I would like to invite you to bring in another piece of paper and let's use this. Let's write the word inner self. So inner self is like a foundation of a house. So in 2016, when I moved to Portland, Oregon, in the USA, Portland, Oregon is a state is a city of the state of Oregon, north of California. And hi, yeah, thanks for joining us. So in 2016, when I moved to Portland, Oregon, I went to downtown Portland, Oregon, and I saw a construction site, and I realized that people are building a very big building, and they are working on the foundation of the building. And every year when I drive by that area, I realize that they are still building the foundation, right? The foundation. And it took them 3 years to build that foundation. But the second that they completed that foundation, it's only take them a few months to build a skyscraper, like a 40-story high building. And this is the importance of the foundation of the building. So the simplified version of it is kind of like a house. But what I want you to draw and to understand is a skyscraper. And if you can go to your city, if you can look at any big building, a skyscraper, you will realize that the higher or the taller the building is, the more center it is. Okay? And I'm going to repeat this. the higher the building, the stronger the foundation needed. And the highest point of the building usually is right at the middle point. So in life, we have to face with many challenges. But if we were to simplify that, there would be four categories: the inner self, health, relationship, and finance. Inner self should be the foundation of the building. With a strong inner self, you will be able to build a very tall building, as tall as you want to. And it might take as long as 3 years to build that foundation. But once that foundation is ready, you will be able to build the house as tall as you can. And you have to remember that it have to be very, very much at the center of the building. And when I look at the foundation at my city in Portland, Oregon, I found something very, very interesting because when they built the foundation, they actually dig down very, very deep. So there are like pillars that supporting the foundation. They dig down deep. So similarly, the inner self will need some sort of support, seven to be exact. And sometime down the road in our journey, I will define the support of these foundation to the inner self. But today we want to focus more on the principle of light, the importance of the inner self to every other category. So let me go ahead and write the word health over here. So then relationship. Oh, we can just write relation. That is fine. And then finance, that's top. Okay. Before I end, I want to ask you a very serious question because I like to keep the presentation within 1 hour. Have you ever seen a house collapse? Or if you were to build like a sand castle, right? You know how like we go to the beach, the ocean, and we play on the sand and we create like sand castle. I do this a lot when I was younger, when I was living in Vietnam. So I was building the sand castle, and I can only go up to a certain height before the sand castle collapsed on itself because the foundation wasn't strong enough because I was building outside of the foundation. And this is the importance of having a very strong inner self. Just like a building, you need to have a strong foundation. You don't want to build a tall building on top of a weak foundation because the building it will collapse on itself. And then you will have to waste time cleaning before you can build it again. Similarly, this is what I observe and see in life. I seen that people who wasn't lucky enough like us, they did not understand the overall picture. They wasn't able to simplify problem in life to four category: inner self, health, relationship, and finance. They tend to be reactive to a problem rather than being proactive, as in being prepared, getting ready. and they absolutely don't have any understanding of the foundation, which is the inner self. Therefore, they are working really, really hard trying to make money, trying to build finance, and and they have some success. But at some point, I'm sure you can find this example to some people you know in life because I personally experienced this. I know a lot of my friends experience the same thing. They work really, really hard to make money, but then just one mistake, they lose it all. They lose everything that they have made, and then they have to start again. But prior to starting anything, they had to clean it up. They had to pay for the debt that they own, and they have to start getting a job to make money to pay for all of that, and then they have to save money to start a new business. And a lot of people that I know of, one of my good friend, he is 45 years old now, and he has been doing his very best since he was 18 years old. He make a tons of money doing real estate, and then he invest that money to restaurant business. And then that restaurant didn't do well. He had to close down that business. He went back to work, making a lot of money, save up money, like again, build a different restaurant. That restaurant fell again, and he doing the same. He going through the same cycle many, many times. And the reason he was doing that because his brother is very successful in restaurant business, but for some reason he wasn't able to do the same thing. And I'm telling you that story because having the understanding of this relationship and having the understanding of building a very strong foundation, it will help you becoming more proactive rather than reactive. Once we understand our inner self and build a very strong inner self foundation, we will be able to build a very good health. We will be able to build good relationship. We will be able to grow our finance with confidence. We don't have to worry about it collapsing on itself. And this is how I can confidently announce that this is the journey of understanding your inner self. And once you can understand your inner self, you will be able to build up your inner self. You will be able to have a very strong foundation. You will be able to be proactive to life rather than being reactive. And just like a chicken egg, just like what we went over in the sixth barrier, because if we are making the impact from the outside in, then we will be treating it like food. But if the food is from the inside out, then that is life. And that is why we need to understand our inner self so that we can create the food from the inside out, so that we can have the transformation, so we can grow bigger, so we can have a stronger foundation, and we can build and keep the life that we desire and that we deserve. And thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you have anything that you would like to share, feel free to raise your hand or type it in the chat. Otherwise, just like usual, I will go out with a song. And again, thank you so very much for going on this journey with me, because together we will be able to share this amazing knowledge in English, and we will be able to spread this important knowledge to every corner of the world. It is very, very important. And I would like to thank you for joining me. And yeah, thanks, Jasmine. Jasmine said that thanks for sharing. I like the story a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you, for joining. All right, let me end the recording and let's go out with the song.